He's not above us. He doesn't think that we're his minions. He's with us. And I trust this man with everything.
We made it to election day. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, is this the day we will see change in Canada? I'm going to go through a bunch of polling data here. The numbers look strong for Pierre Poilievre. Going to show you their final events, Pierre Poilievre versus Mark Carney's. Pierre has some amazing moments in Carleton for his final rally. 3 years in, I believe he said 170 rallies. Got some other things going on here in Canada. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we've got Simieritsch. He's been here for a while now. This is final Poilievre electoral model update. He's projecting 166 seats for the Liberals, 139 seats for the Conservatives. This is based off of the polling data that is out there. That's how he's coming up with this number. Looking at StatCloud, his final 3-day rolling average, 45% for the Conservatives, 43% for the Liberals. He's also got this one here. It says just peaked in BC. CPC is up 4 points, 1 hour and 45 minutes to go. So he does polling all the way up until 9 p.m. So the blue wave is really hitting British Columbia. I thought this one was interesting. Look at the Three Rivers here. Just crazy. This really is Three Rivers, isn't it? Complete toss-up. Next up, we got Chase Abba posting this one, a full recap of the 2021 federal election. So the Conservatives got 33.7 and 119 seats versus the Liberals at 32.6 and 160 seats. This is just evil that they get less of the vote, but they get more seats. What's interesting here, though, is the PPC at almost 5%. This needs to go away. The PPC does not help in our country at all. Maxime Bernier flying from his mansion to Florida for a month to campaign every 4 years is ridiculous. The PPC needs to be dissolved. Got David Coletto from Abacus Data with their final results here. 41% Liberal, 39% Conservative. This is interesting. It says, today in Canada, 56% of people definitely want change of government. Only 25% want the incumbent, the Liberals, re-elected. What will the people do? Got Wyatt Claypool commenting on Great Canadian Bagel here. So Canadian Bagel projecting 40.7% Conservative, 37% Liberal. Wyatt saying that Bagel has been more accurate than most pollsters in the races he surveyed. Now, if we look at that modeled out, he has it here. A little bit hard to read, but basically 144 seats for the Liberals, 161 for the Conservatives. You need 170 to get a majority. So that's still minority territory for the Conservatives. That's what I think is going to happen here today. I think the Conservatives will get a minority government. Hopefully we get the big blue wave with a majority, but we'll see. One thing we know for certain, one good piece of news, is that Jagmeet Singh will be losing his riding. That's right, he's in 3rd place. So that scumbag is going to get tossed out of Parliament. We will finally be rid of him, thank the Lord for small miracles. I want to touch on this story because a whole bunch of people sent this to me, coming from this MCGA YouTube channel, this guy's account, talking about workers taking votes home. So you can't talk about this stuff on YouTube. It goes against terms of service, which was brought in after Donald Trump lost the election 4 or 5 years ago. Stop the steal, all that stuff. They brought in new policy here. You can't talk about this kind of stuff. So all I'll say is this video is about people taking ballots home. Aside from that, you'll have to go into X to find out more what's going on. Moving over to the rallies, Mark Carney here in Edmonton, about 1,200 people showed up. Pierre Poilievre, as Sheila Gunreid mentions here, 15,000 for his rally. Carney's rallies are just, they're so low energy. It's unbelievable. The one in Nanaimo was just electric. Everyone's just so excited for change. Carney's rallies are an absolute snooze fest. And it's important to note, everyone here is not necessarily voting for Carney. They just want to see what this guy has to say. And we've got Mark Carney hailing the crowd. Yeah, I mean, as this guy who posted this here, Chase says, if Pierre did this, this would cost him the election. Yeah, of course, the CBC would be running this. Pierre Poilievre did this awful thing. It's ridiculous because these are the guys who actually brought in the from WW2 into the House of Commons and saluted that guy. And here we have Mark Carney copying Pierre Poilievre, jumping in the back of the truck. Actually, I believe someone posted, yeah, here. So Poilievre has had a couple rallies now where he's in the back of the truck. So Mark Carney has to do it because he copies Poilievre on everything. And he has to talk about hockey because he doesn't want to talk about campaign promises or the Liberals' record because it's awful. So he just talks about hockey.
Just one last, but who's gonna win tonight?
This guy's such a loser. I mean, in Edmonton, he's got an Oilers jersey on. He goes to Montreal, puts a Montreal jersey on. Goes to Winnipeg, somebody's got a Jets jersey. Like, come on. It'd be more authentic if he went to Winnipeg or Montreal and he still had his Edmonton jersey on. At least he knew where he stood. The guy panders to everyone. Literally everything has to be about hockey because he wants to sound relatable. Canadians are too busy trying to pay bills to think this much about hockey. Hope that's an electric pickup truck. Why does he dress like a waterbed salesman? I don't even know what that means, but that's funny. I could see Carney as a waterbed salesman. So I thought this was interesting. We got Ruby Dalla coming out. She's not happy with Mark Carney. Look at this. She's endorsing Pierre Poilievre, essentially. If you're a woman and Canadian from multicultural community, she goes on to say here, just remember what the Liberal establishment did to me. We set out to make history. The Liberal Party wanted the same old Trudeau 2.0, a rigged leadership race, 350,000 stolen, and the same team as Trudeau for the past 10 years. Can you really trust the Liberal Party with 4 more years? Read that again, then make sure you make the right choice for change tomorrow. That sounds like she's endorsing the Conservatives. On the flip side, we've got Pierre Poilievre's Carleton rally set out at a farm location. I like they shake Pleb's hand. Pleb's going around the country filming these rallies better than mainstream media. Amazing job. And we got a wide shot here of the massive crowd that showed up. Okay, so we got copyright music once again, but he'll be speaking right here in this truck, the back of the truck again. Here we've got his final speech of the campaign.
This is it, my friends. We're almost there. It's been quite a journey. You know, I launched my campaign for leadership of this party and to run for Prime Minister almost exactly 3 years ago to the day. And in that time, I've been to just over 180 of these rallies.
Proud of you. In just 3 years. We had well over 100,000 people at those rallies, and up until the campaign, when things started moving really quick and I wasn't able to stop and spend the time, we had a hard rule that I would stand in line and greet one person after another, shake their hands, hear their stories, learn their concerns and their fears, but also hear about their hopes and their aspirations. And it's meant so much to me that you invested in me. Your hope means a lot to know that people, I'm actually in awe, you know, that so many people have put their hope that I can deliver for their future, for their lives. It means the world. I want you to know that no matter what happens tomorrow, I will be there to fight for you, for your quality of life, for your future, for your hopes and aspirations, to bring home the Canadian promise that this country made and kept to my wife, Anna, and I. We both come from very humble beginnings. It is only in this country that we could be standing at this place. Yeah. That's what makes Canada so special. It is a place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, where hard work gets you a great life, in a safe neighborhood, in a beautiful, affordable house under a proud flag. And so I leave with a message of hope to that small businessman who's grinding away, wondering whether he's going to make it through another month. Have hope. Change is on the way. And a single mother whose fridge is empty, whose bank account is empty, whose stomach is empty, and worried that she might not be able to feed her kids tomorrow. Have hope. Change is on the way for you too. To the seniors who still have their adult children living in the basement and want them to have a house so that there can be grandkids and a brighter future. Have hope. Change is on the way for you too. All the people who no longer recognize the country but are anxious to bring home the nation that we knew and still love. Have hope. Change is on the way. That is the promise of Canada. It is my life's work to restore and uphold that promise for you and for all Canadians. Tomorrow is the day. Vote for the Canadian promise. Vote for change.
Pierre with a message of hope. If that can take you emotional, oh my goodness.
Thanks, folks.
And finally, I wanted to play this interview here with Rebel News, and this guy at Pierre Poilievre's rally is quite insightful.
Why was it important for you to be at the last rally of Pierre Poilievre?
Well, you know, I met Pierre Poilievre about a year ago, and he introduced my son's band in Canada during Canada Day. And the man took an hour out of his time and went backstage with us. And he was one of us. He's not above us. He doesn't think that we're his minions. He's with us. And I trust this man with everything. And you know what? I was thinking about you tonight, and I was thinking, she doesn't need a security guard here. This is her security guard out here. We're all in here. I trust every one of these people. And why I'm here tonight, to thank him for his hard work over the years. I'm so proud this man has over 20 years in this business. We need experience. We don't need a billionaire again. We need to get hope. We need to get a future for our young people. And we need to be united because we are Canada, one of the best countries in the world. Amen.
When we see, according to the polls, we see that the people who are voting mostly liberals are the 50, 60 years old and more. How do you react to that?
I think it's absolutely crazy. I'm a boomer. I'm 75 years old. And I can tell you a lot of my friends, a lot of my families are boomers, and they support Poilievre.
That's right. Boomers for Pierre. We got lots of boomers coming out for Pierre.
And the polls, I think, are skewed to the nth degree. And we will find out tomorrow.
How did you react when you saw the headlines of legacy media saying that Pierre Poilievre might not even win his own riding?
Absolutely ridiculous. And it's just another ploy to discredit him, to make him look like a loser. The man is not a loser, number one. And I don't know if you know this, but the number of candidates riding in in his election are something like 91 candidates. Come on a ballot. That's another liberal ploy. And it's just dirty pool.
I like that. Everyone's getting dialed in on all this stuff.
My last question is, if we see in a hypothetical situation where the Liberals are winning tomorrow, what do you think will happen to Canadians and the West?
Personally, if I was the West, and I love this country, my people, my French side of the family, we've been here since 1634. The last thing I want to see is separation either with Alberta or with Quebec. But you know, there comes a time when you have to say, I can't live in a fascist state anymore.
This guy's so dialed in. He's on the mark on everything here.
And quickly, when you see that some columnists and legacy media are trying to portray Mr. Poilievre as a Trumpist.
A Trump? Oh, he's anything but. He has stood up from day one about Trump. But he did not slam the door. But you know what he did? He left the door open a crack for negotiation. Carney's coming off as this big tough guy. Well, we don't believe that for 1 minute. He's not the tough guy he thinks he is. And you know what? You need to negotiate. They're the biggest trade partners that we have. Well, we're not pushovers either. We're very kind. We're very gentle people until.
It's funny, if you think about it, Mark Carney is closer to be the billionaire, the rich guy that Donald Trump is. Those guys are both elitists, not Pierre Poilievre. So this whole notion that Mark Carney can stand up to him, that Pierre's like Trump, is ridiculous. Absolute respect for this gentleman. Yeah. Let this man cook. Yeah. Great interview. Wisest words I've heard up to now. This guy totally nails it. And to round this episode out, I want to highlight a problem across Canada. Not only do we have a bunch of homeless encampments, a lot of these get abandoned and turned into toxic wastelands. Often this is because of people on street candy. I don't know where they go, but they live in certain areas for a couple months and then they just move on and they just leave all their stuff in the woods. This is one of the many problems that needs to be cleaned up today. So here's a real example of what we've been left with. Liberals being in power for 10 years. You think, oh, it looks nice. Well, you start to see some garbage. You see some more garbage. And not only is it disgusting, it's a fire hazard for everyone that lives in this area. This is what Canada has succumbed to. So I will be sending this to the city and they need to come out here and clean this up. Nobody lives here anymore. I've been keeping an eye on it. It's just disgusting. I have to watch where I'm walking here so I don't step on any needles. But just look at this crap everywhere. There's like a fishing net here. All sorts of stuff. Look, there's water bag there. And it's just, people just abandon all their crap out in the woods. It's just crazy. People are forced to come live like this. Sometimes it's people that are just on hard times. Sometimes it's people that are stuck on the street candy. And I don't know what the deal is. I've seen so many like this. They just abandon everything. There's trash everywhere. I mean, look at this pile that's sitting out in the open here. Just trash everywhere in our environment now because of what the Liberals have brought in. All their policies lead to this. Trash everywhere, right next to this beautiful river over here. Hammock right by the river. I mean, there's just pants and just crap everywhere. Look how beautiful this is. This madness must end. Just in this pile of garbage here, you can see a pipe right there. There's another pipe up there. You know, people with drug problems, and then it just creates an environmental hazard out here. We got all this toxic stuff just everywhere. So here's their garbage can in a stump, just full of trash. It's just disgusting. A little further down the trail here, check this out. So this is an elaborate setup. Someone was living here a while. They put all the stones in here and made this archway. I think someone is living here. There's no one here right now, but there's like a chimney stack there. That looks like a new tarp. This is new from last time I've been here. These sticks weren't here, but you can see here, see all this is burnt? These are all burnt. This is all burnt. See, it's all charred black. So, I mean, people need places to live that are not just in the sticks where you've got, there's a grouse just popped out of the water there. You can see it's burnt over there too. I mean, it just becomes a hazard. I mean, we have money for this stuff. It's just, you know, when you send $100 million to Gaza, and you're not taking care of our own problems here, getting people off of their hard candy, then you end up with people potentially burning down other people's houses, living out in places like this. So here's a view from this side. I'm not going to dig through this person's stuff because someone is living here, but you can see there's a bin underneath there with stuff in it. And I mean, yeah, this is someone's house right now. I mean, this stuff must be soaking wet sitting out here. Looks like there's a shovel there. Well, there we have it. It's election day. Get out and vote today. Go vote for the Conservatives. Go vote for Pierre Poilievre. Vote for change in Canada.